Hello, it's Rashmir, and welcome to day 5 of the Sampling Silence Challenge. Well, time has flown, and we knew that 5 days was going to be a pretty short period in which to explore the depths and range of silence. So, in some ways, we've barely scratched the surface. But I hope at the very minimum, you've started to realize that there are lots of ways in which you can create pockets of silence in your day and start to benefit from the calm and the stillness and the presence that can emerge through these tiny little pockets of silence scattered through your work life and your home life. So before I get to today's task, let's briefly touch on yesterday's, because as I said yesterday, it's one of my favorite days of the challenge. And the reason for that is sometimes some people find that by holding that intention of spending a few times in silence during the day, of creating those pockets, silence can come and meet them. And that actually happened to me the first time I did that particular task. I was actually in the checkout line of the busy supermarket, and there was some kind of siren or thing going on in one of the other aisles. So it was really quite loud and not the most pleasant place to be at the time. And just seemingly out of nowhere, silence came and met me. And it was really beautiful because it dropped me out of my slightly stressed and annoyed state and into this place of calm presence, which massively then affected my stance and my demeanor as I continued through the checkout line, got my groceries, and carried on with my day. So that can happen for some people in day 4. The other thing that can happen is some people are surprised by how quickly they drop into the inner well of silence and stillness within. So that may or may not have happened to you. Don't worry if neither of those happened, right? There's no rights or wrongs here. We're all on our own journey. And what I'd like you to do today, though, is to be an inquiry about these two aspects of silence, right? That deep well of silence and still within us, and that larger scape, that larger field of silence in which all things have their form. And we can sometimes make contact with that by getting underneath the soundscape of silence. But either way, being an inquiry about those two things and what is the relationship between the two. Now, to complete your task for today, what I'd like you to do is just share a reflection, and it can be a reflection about the relationship between those two, the inner well of silence and the larger field or scape of silence. But I'd also like you to reflect back on your experience over these 5 days. What, if anything, has shifted in your relationship to silence? Has the time that you now spend in silence evolved or changed? Or decreased, perhaps? What about the quality on a scale of 0 to 10? Has that shifted at all? And what, if anything, have you learned or felt or sensed or found yourself curious about? So really, it's a very reflective day around changes, but also around silence itself. So I look forward to reading your comments, and I will see you not just in the comments, but actually I'll see you tomorrow for a little bonus video for those of you that are struggling still with an overactive mind. Thanks very much.